Electricast.
How do stop losses work on Kraken? Let's say I have a birthday party on Wednesday night, but an important meeting Thursday morning. So Sensible Me pre-books a taxi for 10 p.m. with alerts. Voila! I won't be getting carried away and staying out till 2. That's stop loss orders on Kraken, an easy way to plan ahead. Go to kraken.com and see what crypto can be. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Interactive Inc., PWI, DBA Kraken. View PWI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
This episode is brought to you by Atlassian. Atlassian makes the team collaboration software that powers enterprise businesses around the world, including over 80% of the Fortune 500. With Atlassian's AI-powered software like Jira, Confluence, and Loom, you'll have more time to do the work that matters. In fact, Atlassian customers experience a 25% reduction in project duration per year. Unleash the potential of your team at Atlassian.com. Atlassian.
Welcome to Her Extraordinary Life by Design, where we celebrate women who are shaping their lives one extraordinary day at a time. I'm your host, Leslie Gaudet, self-care coach for women who are ready to make self-care a priority to support them in life and business. Every week, I'll be speaking with inspiring women from various walks of life who will share their personal journeys and will discover how they have fearlessly carved their own paths as business owners, passionately pursuing their dreams and creating a meaningful impact on their communities. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome to Her Extraordinary Life by Design podcast. I'm your host, Leslie, and I'm super excited to be speaking with my next guest. Today, we're talking with Dana-Sofie Šlancarová. I hope I said your name right. She is a psycho-success catalyst who guides women entrepreneurs to leverage their feminine cycle to enhance their business success, increase earnings, and achieve their desired impact with ease. Founder of Osul Publishing and lifehacking.store, she launched the influential Cyclixia Zina. I know she's going to have to redo these for me, but this is a movement she started in 2013, impacting countless women in the Czech and Slovak republics. An author of over 5 books in the cycle success method, Dana-Sofie advocates for a balanced approach to entrepreneurship that aligns with women's natural cycles, promoting well-being and sustainable success. I am so happy to have you on today, Dana-Sofie. So let's get started. Welcome. It's great having you on the show today.
Oh, thank you very much, Leslie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for being so gracious. I know I asked you before we got on how to pronounce specific things. It's not my native
Well,
tongue,
it's, Czech is really difficult. Yeah, so my name is usually pronounced, my surname is like Šlancarová, but it's difficult for,
Šlancarová,
everyone.
yes.
Yeah,
Šlancarová, yes. I think that was much easier for me to pronounce than the name of the movement from 2013, but that's okay.
Cyklická žena. It means like cyclical woman.
Yes. Oh, I love it. So as tradition for my podcast episodes, I have my guests tell us a little bit about the behind the scenes of their personal side of their story. So if you could do that for us, just give us a little bit of backstory of who you are as a woman, and then we'll dive into what you do.
Yeah. Well, it's connected. Yeah. I studied Czech and English, and then I started as a translator and a proofreader. And when I was doing my translations, at some point, it was just wonderful. I could work the sentences, the translation, the words were coming to me very easily. And it was awesome. And then there were strange days when I couldn't focus on my work. And I even hated it, even though, before I loved it. And I had no idea what's going on. And at the same time, I had very painful menstruation. I had cramps and I hated it. I didn't want to have it. I was like, well, I do not want to have children yet. Why do I have to suffer? Yeah. Why do I have this curse? And well, then I wanted to have a child. And when I stopped being on the pill, I didn't get my menstruation. So then I was like, oh, I want to have a child, but I do not have a menstruation. So that was the opposite. And when I got pregnant, well, of course, I didn't have menstruation and I was happy because I had no problems. Yeah. And then I was breastfeeding my son for 5 years. And so altogether for 5 years, I was menstruating. It was a great time. But then it happened again. But I was, I was a different woman at that time because I already had son and, children can change us. Yeah. So I had a different approach to life. But there was a strange coincidence or a synchronicity that came when I started to menstruate again. On the same day, my friend came and she brought me a DVD with a film that is called Moon Inside You by a Slovak documentarist, Diana Fabianova. And it was all about menstruation. And I was like, oh, is this possible? And the way she talks about it is that it is our true superpower that has been suppressed because we women were suppressed in the past. And so I started to look for other books and other information on our menstruation. And I found out it is not only menstruation, but we have like 4 different phases. And I started to observe it in my work and in my life, in my personal life. And I started to love it and it became my passion. So this is my life. Yeah. And at the same, what I do, it cannot be just taken apart.
No, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing about yourself. I really, truly love learning more about you. We're really recent connections, but I love learning about what you do. I think obviously this is something that all women go through. So it's really nice to actually have this conversation about something that might sometimes it feels like it's taboo to talk about. So I'm really excited to get into the conversation. So can you explain the concept of being a cycle success catalyst and how understanding one's feminine cycle can be a game changer for women entrepreneurs?
Yeah. Well, I told you that I was sitting by the computer trying to translate or do whatever, and it wasn't working at some days. Yeah. And I was telling myself, you are terrible. You are stupid. You are just procrastinating. You are not disciplined. And all this stuff I was telling myself. And then when I started to work with the 4 phases, I realized that in each of the phase, we have a different level of our feminine hormones. And depending on the level, on the composition of the hormones, we have different attitude to whatever is in our life, be it our relationships, be it our work, be it the individual tasks, be it driving, be it eating, be it sleeping. Everything is influenced by the levels of our hormones, and they really change every day. And the period is 28 days, or it depends on the length of the cycle. Yeah. And so then I saw that when, for example, in my premenstrual time, I'm really focused and I love to do my translations, my proofreadings, now it is writing or creating. I love it. And I do not have to go second time to the text when I write it. Yeah. Because I'm in the flow. My superpower in this phase is just being creative, extremely creative. And on the cyclic magnet, this is the creative phase. Yeah. But if I am in my ovulation phase, I love to connect with people and I do not have patience to be sitting by the computer. So once I learned this, I was able to say, well, I'm not stupid and I'm not disciplined. I am just what I am. I am a cyclical woman who changes, well, let's say in 4 phases in weeks' time. It is not a week, but let's say it is. Yeah. And I was able to really find my flow that now helps me to be extremely creative, much more productive, efficient. And at the same time, I'm not overriding my body or pushing through as I used to do before. Because for example, I was trying to push myself to work hard and, I don't know, be presenting somewhere, lecturing in person when I was menstruating. And it was extremely tiring for my body and for my whole system. Now I know when the time of menstruation of my period will come. It's in my calendar and I do not do it. Yeah. And so I've been observing this for more than 15 years. And I've been working with hundreds and hundreds of women in person. And that's why I developed my cycle success method. to be helping women entrepreneurs, because when I look around, I see all the women, they are trying really to be linear, but we are not linear. We are cyclic. And when we know it, it's easier for us to work, to live, and to be happy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for that explanation. I think that's incredible. So now, as you were saying, again, this beautiful movement that you've created has had a significant impact on, well, actually, let me back up a little bit. Let me talk about Osul Publishing House and the life hacking store, and how do these ventures, so how do they complement your mission to empower women? And then we'll talk about the movement.
Yeah. Well, I started my publishing house because I realized that I want to publish books that have the power to change lives of people. Yeah. And the first book that I started, it was actually an audio book by Fred Kaufman, Conscious Business. And then I met with Miranda Gray, and I published, who's the author of the Optimized Woman book that then became, in the Czech translation, the Cyklická žena, the cyclic woman. And I published one of her books. And then the next one was this one that really started the whole movement in the Czech and Slovak republics. Yeah. And for me, it is, very handy that I have my publishing house, and whatever I write, I can publish. Yeah. Because you can imagine that talking about menstruation is still not that much mainstream. So I really know that, get it to the bookstores. It's impossible. I even sometimes get blocked by Facebook when I post something, for example, about first menstruation for girls. It gets blocked. Yeah. And well, this is what happens. So it is me really being there, showing up every, month or year again and again, and selling the books so that women know what they are, in fact. Yeah. So that's why I started, and that's how it really helps me with what I do, because I'm the one who's responsible if it gets to the readers. And I know that we are selling more of the Czech version of the book than the English version yearly. So this is just incredible.
That's incredible. Yeah. And again, it comes down to, I don't know why, but it just feels like it's such a taboo topic, and yet it is a natural phenomenon. Like, women have menstrual cycles. Every animal on this planet has a menstrual cycle. That's how they're reproducing offspring. And it's the same for us. We don't walk around our entire lives until we have relations with our partner to have a baby. We don't just never have that in our system. It has to have some way of cleaning itself, because things have to be recharged, I guess, re-energized, refreshed, our reproductive system. So for me, it's like, for it to be so taboo to talk about, and to be blocked to talk about it, when really, for me, how I learned about the reproductive system was really about my mom handing me a book at 9 years old saying, "Here you go." And I read it, but it's still, it almost feels like they're so uncomfortable. And yet this is a part of life. It's a natural part of life. And if people were just more open about it and just talked, it would become so mainstream that we wouldn't feel like it's a taboo. We can't talk about it. We'd stop feeling that way and be more comfortable. So I love that you do that,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for mentioning your story, because this was also at the beginning of my story and of so many women of our generation. I was told, I came to my mom and I said, well, I probably started menstruating because I already knew from school biology lessons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, okay, give me the panties. I will wash them and take the sanitary pad. Yeah. And that was it. Nothing like, oh, wonderful, you're a woman. And I even don't know if she told my father. Yeah. So that's why I wrote this book. This is called Malá velká cyklická dívka Sarah in Czech. In English, it would be something like Teenage Sarah becoming a cyclic woman. And it is my story interwoven into it, but it's really explaining to little girls before they get their versus menstruation, their menarche, what it is, and that it is not only the feared menstruation when we were told we cannot swim. Do you remember? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the sanitary pads at the time, they were, you know, huge and thick, and everyone could see them. And we were so afraid that we would get stained trousers.
Yeah.
So this is, you know, all this is in that book explaining, and it's not only, as I said, it's not only menstruation, but it's about the 4 wonderful phases that we have, because each of the phases brings us certain superpowers that we can use, be it if we are just kids at school for learning, for example, or for sports, or for improving relationships, making relationships, or be it in our adulthood when we are entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that, well, I recently spoke to many women, one from India, for example, and she told me, well, you are the 3rd person in my life with whom I spoke about my menstruation. And she was, I think, 25, let's say. Yeah. And she said it was my mom when I was 15 and started menstruating. And then it was my sister, because my menstruation is painful. I haven't told my husband about it. Yeah. Imagine you're living in a partnership with someone and he doesn't know about your monthly changes. And it was wonderful because we spoke after 3 months, and she said, I told my husband, and he cares for me. He takes care for me when I'm in my period, during my period time. Yeah. And it is so nice. It is no longer painful. And when I hear this from women, this is just the biggest reward for me when they say me, well, I no longer have painful menstruation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because so many women have painful menstruation because they do not allow themselves to be menstruating, in fact. Yeah. We live in the dynamic society that wants us to be in this dynamic phase. Yeah, this is the one that comes after menstruation. And we have a lot of energy. We are very, you know, we love action, and we are very rational and logical. So this is what society wants us to be the whole month. But
Mm-hmm.
we have 3 other sides.
Yeah. And then there's the whole other side once you start going through the perimenopausal, you know, all of that. There's so many different things that happen too with our hormones changing then. I know because
Exactly.
I've gone through it. So
Yes.
yes.
But maybe there is one point that I'm always saying to women who come to me and they say, well, after menopause and I'm not menstruating, so probably I do not have a cycle. And I say,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you still do. I have a friend and she's 73 at the moment, and she still has a cycle, and she doesn't have menstruation. She's not menstruating. Yeah. But you still have the hormonal changes, be it that you are after a surgery, maybe your ovaries or your womb were taken, or you may be breastfeeding, just as I did, or you may be pregnant, or you may be during the menopause or after menopause, but still all the women have the cycle and can use the superpowers. This is the best
Yeah.
news, that any age you are, no matter if you have menstruation or you do not, you are still having your feminine superpowers.
Yeah, I love that. So I want to talk about the movement. I know, of course, I have trouble. I have trouble
Cyklická
pronouncing it.
změna.
Yes, this has had a significant impact on women in the Czech and Slovak republics. Can you share more about the mission and achievements of this project?
Well, it all started with publishing of the Czech version of Miranda Gray's book. And at the time, we didn't know. They were asking us, well, is it that there's a woman who rides the bicycle? Yeah, cyclical, bicyclical. I don't know what they were thinking. And we were saying, no, it is about a woman who has menstruation and 3 other phases. Yeah. And well, I started writing about it, a lot of articles. I was lecturing on it. I was giving courses, and it grew. And it was fascinating for me that sometimes it was men who wanted to know more because they wanted to understand us. They want to understand us. Yeah. And this is why I later wrote and co-wrote this book called Manual to Women. And it's a little bit like half for women and half for men, so that they really can understand us. There are tables, and in the phase, in the menstrual phase, do this, don't do that. Yeah, in the premenstrual phase, do this, don't do that. And this became quite popular in the Czech Republic. So now men know it. And recently I saw a video of one Czech renowned actor who was saying, well, I know that my wife, she is cyclical. Yeah, she's cyclic. And that's why she behaves this way. So I'll wait until she behaves a different way. So for me, this was like the sign that it is becoming mainstream and that, well, you of course, you cannot sort of control. You can only be there with the mission that we women are changing, ever changing, that we have 4 phases and that men are different than we are. But if understood and respected, both like if the cycle is understood and respected by us as women, and then, our environment, be it our partners or our kids, so then we can really live much happier lives because we no longer argue. Yeah. Men know, oh, she's in the premenstrual phase. For example, what I have on the magnet, it says, oh, I don't have this one, but I have a different one that is for men. And it says like, do not take anything personally in the premenstrual phase. Yeah. Tell her you love her despite her moods. And remember that it is only a phase and it will pass. Yeah. So this, my mission is to find new and new ways how to say it so more and more people can understand it, of all ages and all genders, because it's with us every single day, every single minute. You cannot run from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think awareness too is really important. And I love the fact that the men in your community are starting to see like, oh, and understand, because instead of putting a label on a woman because she's going through that cycle, instead allowing themselves to be open to understanding and being able to say, oh, okay, it's just a phase. It's not something that, oh, she's changed and this is how she is. These are phases we go through, the understanding that our bodies change several times throughout the month. And just to be understanding about it will allow for more peace and harmony in the home. So I love that.
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to go back to the cycle success method. Can you share a success story with a client you've worked with who's implemented this system into their business and how it's transformed their business for them?
Yeah. So, well, it's never like only business, because one wonderful recent client that I remember she actually called me and she said, well, I have a boyfriend and I would like to improve our relationship. And we also work together. They were managers of a huge hotel. And it's my premenstrual phase. I'm just going crazy and he's going crazy, and we probably, I don't know, maybe we will break up. So we started working together, and it means that we work on 2 fronts, because 2 fronts are important. The first one is that the woman needs to really understand and discover her cycle. Yeah. So I have a tool that is called the cyclic map, I call it. And she puts in how she feels every single day. And thus she can see in like 2 months or 3 months, she sees, oh, let's say day 23, I am angry with my husband, with my boyfriend. Yeah. I am angry with people, with my employees. Yeah. Or let's say day 13, oh, I want to have sex. And day 7, impatient with everyone at work and with my child as well, and also with my dog. Yeah. So she starts to see the patterns. As I said, the patterns are usually 28 days or maybe 32 days long. So it's difficult for our brain to see it as patterns. Yeah. So she starts to see the patterns, and then she realizes, oh, this is how I react to, this work situation, to this relationship situation. Yeah. And of course, then it is important that she starts talking with her boyfriend, husband, partner about it, and with the kids too. Yeah, from any age. Yeah, you can start any age. They understand it pretty well. And then there is the other side, because we were given so many beliefs that are not true and that are blocking us in our womanhood and in the way we are as women in businesses. Yeah. So then I have different methods how we can unblock, how we can delete these beliefs that hinder us with our business. So that's what we do. And it was just incredible how this ended, because her boyfriend, after 4 months of us working together, he proposed. And it was in the menstrual phase, which used to be one of the worst. Yeah. And now he knows what's happening and he's so supportive. And because of this, of him knowing it, their business can flourish and thrive because he knows what's going on. And when she needs backup because she's menstruating, he can be there. And he knows that, for example, in the premenstrual phase, she has the insights. She sees what's wrong. Yeah. And he's no longer afraid to ask her, tell me, what is it that is wrong in our business? What can we improve? Yeah. And because she has the subconscious insights, she says, well, this is this. And he listens. So the communication improved. And of course, she was able to relate more to all her employees, especially female employees. She understood why they are behaving at certain point of the month like they are. Yeah. And this is what usually happens, that, it's when it's like the manager who comes with these ideas, then the employees start to take it on and they are very much relieved. For example, I have one client and she's the leader of 200 women. And when she started speaking openly about her cycle and why she may be a little bit more tough on them on some days and very nice on other days, they understood it, and the overall atmosphere in the company changed.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I love that. I think that's so important. Again, the awareness piece, right? And being open to receive the information and not push back saying, well, no, I don't like it, or no, just because doesn't give her, as an example, it doesn't give her permission to act this way. But really being open to it has allowed her partner to say, oh, I understand you more. It's brought them closer. Now they're engaged. And it allows him to feel more confident navigating their relationship through her cycles. It allows her to be more confident navigating their relationship through her cycles. So I think it's like a win-win all around. So I love that. So let's talk about the future a little bit. Looking towards the future, how do you hope to evolve your work with Cycle Success Method, and what impact do you envision creating for women entrepreneurs, women globally?
Wow. My vision is that everyone, and I mean women, but also men, know about our cycles, about our nature, and that we live by it, and that we work by it, that we create by it, and we allow it fully in our businesses. Yeah, because for me, my business is in my heart. Yeah. And only if I allow myself to be the changing woman, then I'm in my heart, and then I'm happy in my business, and my business thrives, and I get the right clients. I remember when I was trying to listen to different time management methods and marketing methods that were devised by men, it wasn't working for me. And when I started to listen to my own cycle and to my own heart, it's changed. And now I'm really attracting the best clients I can imagine. I know that I can change their life, and they are changing mine because I'm so happy working with them. I love to see how their life changes to the better, and their families are happier, and the business is thriving. So as I say, well, I'll do whatever I can to spread the message that we are not linear, but we are cyclical, and that all this can be also applied in our business.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. It has actually been such a pleasure having you on the show today and diving into the unique world of cycle-based success and learning more about your dedication to empowering women all over the world. Your insights are incredibly inspiring, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to share your wisdom with our audience. I'll be including all of your contact details in the show notes, allowing our listeners to connect with you and explore how they can harness their feminine cycles for business success and personal well-being. And I'm sure that what you have shared today will surely encourage our listeners to embrace their natural cycles and leverage them for greater success in their personal and professional lives. So thank you again so much for spending time with me today and for your commitment to supporting women in such a meaningful way.
Thank you. Thank you, Leslie. Yeah, I'm really happy that I could have been here.
Yeah, absolutely. And to our listeners, remember, understanding and aligning with your natural cycles is a powerful approach to achieving your goals and thriving in your business and personal life. With visionaries like Dana-Sofie guiding the way, you're equipped to transform your approach and achieve harmony and success. So embrace the cycle, listen to your body, and step confidently into your power, one phase at a time. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep designing your extraordinary life one day at a time. Thank you for joining me on Her Extraordinary Life by Design. I hope you've been inspired and empowered by the incredible stories shared on this show. If you enjoyed this episode and the conversations we've had, I would greatly appreciate if you could take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback and support mean the world to me, and it will help others discover the podcast and join our empowering community. Remember to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Together, we can continue to learn from these amazing women, uncover their extraordinary journeys, and be motivated to create our own lives by design. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, stay empowered and keep shaping your extraordinary life one day at a time.
Hi, everyone. I'm Geraldine Glass, a leader in the field of music as medicine, and I'm excited to share with you my newest release of healing sound, Pentatonic Visions, with Chris Scholler and Electrocast Records. Immerse yourself in ethereal realms where the harmonies of nature, tribal rhythms, and soundscapes blend with the crystal singing bowls. It's out now, streaming on all platforms.
Ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Do you have a business or a message you want to share with the world?
Well, now it's easier than ever with Electrocast. Hi, I'm Mark Netter.
And I'm Peter Rafelson. We're the founders of Electrocast Media.
Whether you want to start a new podcast or already have one, join Electrocast to grow your audience, monetize your content, and build your community.
With our simple sign-up, you get free promotion, world-class analytics, premium ads, and personal support.
Go to electrocast.com and join our community today.
Electrocast. Transform your influence.
Electrocast. Electrocast.